Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. President, Honorable Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored today to represent my country at this Forum of World Leaders, where we have a chance to discuss problems that the world is facing. I want to talk about a lot of problems, but just 4 today. And I especially came to this forum despite a difficult time in my country, facing challenges. I would not have come, but because I feel that there's some very urgent problems which the world must address. So first of all, I start with climate change. So many leaders have talked about climate change. But Mr. President, I feel that there is a lack of seriousness. Perhaps world leaders do not, some of the leaders who can do a lot, do not realize the urgency of the situation. We have a lot of ideas. But as someone said, ideas without funding is mere hallucination. Pakistan, I'll give you an start with my own country. Our country is amongst the top 10 nations in the world which are most affected by climate change. We depend upon our rivers. We are mainly an agricultural country. And 80% of the water in our rivers comes from our glaciers. The glaciers not just on the Pakistani side, even India. The river, the 80% of the water in Ganges and the Indian river also comes from the glaciers, from the Himalayan glaciers, Karakoram, Hindu Kush. And these glaciers are melting at quite a rapid pace. We detected already 5,000 glacial lakes in our mountains. And if this keeps going, if nothing is done, we are scared that humans are facing a huge catastrophe. In my country, when my party came to power in the province of KP, we planted 1 billion trees in 5 years. Now we've set ourselves a target of 10 billion trees in Pakistan. Ideally, counter this the effects of global warming. One country cannot do anything. This has to be a combined effort of the world. My optimism comes from the fact that humans, the Almighty, endowed humans with great powers. We can do billions of dollars siphoned off by the ruling elites of the developing world. And they find their way into Western bank accounts, offshore accounts, tax havens, expensive properties hidden behind companies bought in Western capital. Mr. President, this is devastating the developing world. This is causing more poverty, death. It's impoverishing the developing world. The difference between rich and poor countries is growing because of this. Money laundering, which happens because money leaves the poorer countries into rich countries, is not treated the same as, for instance, money from drugs or terror financing. The seriousness which terror financing and money from drugs, the way it is treated, it's not the same. The way the poor countries are being plundered by their elites. It's not happening. In my country, when I took charge of our government a year back, in the 10 years preceding that, our total debt went up 4 times. The debt we had accumulated in 60 years, just in 10 years it went up 4 times. As a result, the total revenue we collected in 1 year, half of it went into debt service. How are we going to spend money on a human being, 220 million people, when half the money is going into debt service? Because our country was plundered by the elites, the ruling elite. And easily they can get the money out. And when the engaging property in Western capitals bought by this money corruption and money laundering, looking at the properties of these corrupt leaders, we find it so difficult to retrieve it. That money, if we retrieve that money, we could spend on our human beings. As such, it's so difficult. The laws protecting these criminals. We do not have the sort of money to have expensive lawyers and spend millions and millions of dollars. We need help from the rich countries. And Mr. President, it's critical. The rich countries must show political will. They cannot allow this to happen. How can the poor countries spend money on human development which the United Nations asks SDGs? How are we going to do it? Well, this money can easily leave the country. So, unless the rich countries build walls to stop economic refugees coming as we see right now, they must take action. They must take action now. It must be a deterrent. Corrupt ruling elites should not be able to take money out easily and park it into foreign bank accounts and into these properties abroad. And I never understand why. Why do we have these tax havens? Why is this allowed? Why shouldn't rich people pay taxes? Why is it legal to say have these tax havens where you have these secret accounts? Because the world is changing. The population of the world is growing. Sooner or later you're going to have a crisis. If the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, there is going to be a crisis sooner or later. This is my second point. I hope that the United Nations takes the lead in this. It involves the IMF, the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank. What message did they send to people in the West? And why is there Islamophobia? How is a person in New York, in the Midwest in the US, in European countries, how is he going to distinguish between who is a moderate Muslim and who is a radical Muslim? Because terrorism has nothing to do with any religion. This Islamic terrorism, Islamic radicalism, is sadly used by radical Islam, rather than Muslim leaders trying to explain to the West that there is no such thing as radical Islam. In all human communities, they are radical, they are liberals and are moderate. All human communities, Christians, Jews, everyone has it. Islam is not radical. Neither Judaism, neither Christianity, neither Hinduism. No religion preaches radicalism. The basis of all religion is compassion and justice, which differentiates us from the animal kingdom. But unfortunately, the Muslim leadership was so scared of being called radical Islam that all of them became moderates. In Pakistan, we wear the eye of the storm, and our government coined the phrase called enlightened moderation. No one knows what it means, but everyone started putting on Western suits that they were moderate. Started speaking, even those who didn't know English would speak English because they were moderate. No one had a clue what it was. Because we, in the Muslim world, did not explain to the West that there is no such thing as radical Islam. One of the reasons why after 9/11 Islam was supposed to be equated with terrorism was suicide attacks. Because the 9/11 bombers did a suicide attack also. But the Muslims are involved in suicide attacks because they will get virgin in heaven. Some came up with, what about women? Suicide attack. Bizarre thing that you know what it's playing. Suicide attacks and Islam were equated. No one did research that before 9/11 the majority of suicide attacks in the world were by Tamil Tigers or Hindus. No one blamed Hinduism and corrupted. What desperate people were doing in Sri Lanka. We all know about, we've seen films about Japanese camp coming to silence at the end of the Second World War. Suicide attacks. But here we were trying to prove we were moderates and not explaining to the West. But we lost it. In explaining this, I feel it's very important because I've spent, because I play professional sport in England, I spent a lot of time there. So I know how the Western mind works and how West views religion. So when this misunderstanding about Islam came, and it's one of the reasons it's called Islamophobia. That was in 1989 this book was published, maligning, insulting, ridiculing the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I still remember, it became a watershed. And every 2 or 3 years, someone would malign our Prophet, peace be upon him. There would be a reaction by the Muslims. And again, it was Islam and intolerance. Again this time, I blame a certain section of the people in the West who deliberately promote this, knowingly in fact. But the majority of the people in the West didn't understand. This is where again Muslim leadership led the Muslims down. We should have explained to them what a Prophet peace be upon him means to us. So in 1 minute I'll try and explain what he means to us. A Prophet was the witness to the divine book, the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran is the book of guidance for Muslims. The Prophet's life was living the Quran. He was an example of what the Quran guided us to do. So he is the ideal of all time. The Prophet created the state of Medina, the first state of Islam. That state was the basis of Muslim civilization, which became predominant civilization. Strange things about Islam. It is against women, it's against minorities. First state of Islam in Medina. It was the first time a welfare state was set up. The state took responsibility of the weak, widows, orphans, poor people, handicapped. It taxed the rich, spent the money on the poor. The state announced that all human beings are children of Adam and equal, whatever the color of the skin. The state announced, the Prophet announced that enslaved slavery, the whole system depended on slavery, as it did for many years in the Western society. The Prophet said one of the greatest deeds of the state, it was the society depended on slavery. He said, but if you have to, treat them as an equal member of the family. And as a result, something happened in a Muslim world which hasn't happened in any other civilization. Slave dynasties appeared. Slaves became kings. The Mamluks, slaves who became rule Egypt. In India, there were slave dynasties. And then, with minorities, again, you hear that Islam is supposed to be against minorities. In Islam, the Prophet announced that everyone was free to practice religion. It was a sacred duty to protect the places of worship of all religions. He announced that every person is equal in front of law, whatever his religion or his color. in the Western society, and quite rightly, the Holocaust is treated with sensitivity because it gives the Jewish community pain. That's all we ask. When do not use freedom of speech to cause us pain by insulting our holy prophet. That's all we want. And now, the number 4th point, and this is the most critical point, the reason why I especially feel about what is happening. Before I go on this, I want to make one thing clear. That funded by the Western countries. These Mujahideen groups, which were treated in guerrilla warfare, were trained by Pakistan Army, funded by the Western countries, and especially US, and they waged what was a freedom struggle in Afghanistan. The Soviets called them terrorists. We call them freedom fighters. 1989, the Soviets retreated. The Americans backed up and left. Pakistan. Come 9/11, Pakistan joined the United States. And now, the reason why I opposed joining this war, because here we had indoctrinated them in jihad, meaning freedom struggle against foreign occupation. Now, because we had joined the US and the US had occupied Afghanistan, now we were supposed to tell them that no, this is not freedom struggle and jihad, it's terrorism. That's why I tried to tell them, government, you will stay neutral because you will have leverage over them. You will be able to control them. If you join them, you become collaborators, they will attack you. This is what happened. We went through a nightmare. No Pakistani was involved in 9/11. Taliban were in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan. What did we do with it? 70,000 Pakistanis. So when we came to power, we decided that it's time to what was left to use. This decision was taken not just by us, but by all the political parties. Unfortunately, they didn't implement it. We came to power, we decided to implement it, and we dismantled it. And I know you guys are using us, that we are but we decided that there would be no military organizations in Pakistan. So I needed to give you this background and what I'm going to say later on. And secondly, we started mending fences. I invited the Iran president to Afghanistan. We had problems with Iran, we mended fences there. And then India. Now let me just give you a little background on my relationship with India. Prime Minister Modi told me that, there were terrorist attacks from Pakistan. I said, we have problems with you. There's terrorist attacks, which are instigated by India in Balochistan. We caught a civil spy, Kulbhushan Yadav, who admitted what sabotage going on in Kashmir. Let's keep that going. Let's move forward. I'm being silent. Unfortunately, it didn't make any difference. Foreign Minister was supposed to meet this UNGA last year. India cancelled it. We thought that it's the election coming up. It's a nationalist, ultra-nationalist party. It doesn't want to cozy up to Pakistan. So we thought we would wait for the election. Meanwhile, I went into Pakistan and taught them a lesson. This was the election campaign. Okay, so we thought, us politicians would make all these statements to win elections. Okay, after elections, we'll get back to our normal relationship. Well, the moment the elections ended, we approached India. No response. And this government was trying to push us in the fat and blacklist. Bankrupt us. That's when we realized there was an agenda. And that agenda became obvious on the left policy. When India went against 11 United Nations Security Council resolutions, which said that Kashmir is a disputed territory and the people of Kashmir have the right of self-determination. They went against that. They went against self-civilized war, which is about bilateral sorting out of differences, bilateral went against that. Actually went illegally in Article 70, which gave we got an extra 180,000 total number of security forces. This RSS believed in the ethnic cleansing of Muslims from India. At one point there was racial superiority of the Hindu race. Secondly, it was hatred for the Muslims and for the Christians, because they believed that this golden age of Hindu civilization was stopped because of Muslim rule centuries back and then the British. So it was racial superiority and hatred of Muslims and Christians. This is openly stated. You look at the founding fathers of RSS, Goldwater and Savarkar. Just Google them and you find out. And this ideology of hate is what murdered the great Mahatma Gandhi in 1958. It was this ideology of hate that made Narendra Modi in 2002 to a foreground against Muslims rather than he allowed 3 days of RSS who were inspired by the human vouchers. This RSS, the previous Congress Home Minister gave a statement that in RSS camps, terrorists are being trained. And these terrorists butchered 2,000 Muslims and 150,000 Muslims. Narendra Modi could not travel to the US because of that. And I need to make you understand this background before I explain to you that what sort of a mindset there seems to be 8 million people with 900,000 troops. Women, children, sick people, locked in as animals. In fact, of what I know of England, 8 million animals were locked in outside. They would have been about 2,000. And Mr. President, what comes with racial superiority, these illusions of Aryan superior race, is arrogance. The two go together. And it's arrogance that makes people make mistakes and do stupid things. Cruel things like what Narendra Modi has done. It's sheer arrogance. And it's arrogance that has blinded him from the fact that what is going to happen to Mr. President? Has he thought about it? This hasn't been thought through. What is he going to do when he lifts the curfew? Does he think the people of Kashmir will quietly accept the status quo because India has changed the constitution and taken away the special status? Will they accept that? Mr. President, 100,000 Kashmiris have died in the past 30 years because they were denied the right given by the United Nations, the right for self-determination. 100,000 have died and 11,000 women have been raped. There are 2 human rights, United Nations human rights reports on this. The world has done this because it has a huge market, 1.2 billion people. Sad. We have to wait. But this is serious consequences. Again, I don't think that's why I'm here. Look, what is going to happen when the curfew is lifted will be a bloodbath. The people will come out. There are 900,000 troops there. They haven't come to, as Narendra Modi says, he's done this for the prosperity of Kashmir. This is supposed to be for the development. These 900,000 troops, what are they going to do when they come out? There'll be a bloodbath. This is what 13,000 boys have been picked up and taken to God knows which destinations. So what do they think? What will the people of Kashmir do when they lift the curfew? They will be out in the streets. And what will the soldiers do? They will shoot them. They've already used pellet guns, blinded young boys. In the last 6 years, the 5 years, the oppression that has gone on in Kashmir. So, Kashmir is going to further radicalize. Mr. President, there will be another Pulwama. And guess what? India will blame us. They're already blaming us. They're saying all this is happening because of Pakistan. One of their defense ministers said 500 terrorists lined up on the border of the world. Why would Pakistan send 500 terrorists when there are 900,000 troops? They won't impact other countries. What will they do? And why would? Don't we know that the moment there is some terrorist attack, all that will happen is that we fight towards the oppression of the people. We will just give them 900,000 troops further. And then the Indian government and use it to Pakistan as this mantra that has gone on Islamic terrorism. The moment you use this catchword, Islamic terrorism, the whole world turns away. No one talks about human rights. You can do whatever you want, which is what has happened in Kashmir because they keep using this word, Islamic terrorism. And this is what they're doing right now. What do we benefit from further increasing the cruelty of people in Kashmir? And why would we want this? But there is no other alternative. As when the whatever happens, Pakistan is to blame. And there is always a danger to be Pulwama. They will again the government of Kashmir, and then the cycle will start. And what does Narendra Modi say? The 180 million Muslims in India are they watching stuck in sunlight for 55 days they've been stuck in. Are they watching? What do you think? Don't you think that Muslims will be radicalized in India? And I'm talking about 180 million people. And when they get radicalized, there will be some incident in India somewhere down the line. Again, we will be blamed. And I'm warning you right now, again we will be blamed. And Mr. President, what about 1.3 billion Muslims who are watching this? And they know that it is only happening in Kashmir because they are Kashmiri Muslims. This is not happening to Kashmiri Muslims. They know that this is happening because of their religion. What do you think the Jewish community would think if they were 8,000 Jews struck like this? What do you think Europeans would think? What do we think? And any human community, if their members are stuck like that, what do you think they would think? Are we children of a lesser God? Is it not going to cause us pain? And then I'll tell you what will happen. People will deserve 1.3. if there is a bloodbath are forcing people into radicalization. When people lose the will to live, what is there to live for? And this is what, if you can do this to human beings, you are actually radicalizing. This is why United Nations came into being in 1945. What is the world today going to do? Is it going to appease a market of 1.2 billion? Or is it going to stand up for justice and humanity? If this is wrong, hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. There's a generation of stars in these countries. And when